Boom, let's do it.
Do it.
We're here. We are here and we are fucking queer.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Christian Woods, right?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Man, thanks for coming, dude. Mr. Legend of the fucking scene. My favorite bass player. You know, and, you know, before we even start this shit, why won't you just join my band? God damn it. Did I have to bring you all the way?
But what about Kevin?
I don't even know if he's alive.
You can't replace Kevin.
You know, we'll talk about that off camera. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. It's episode number 9. And I don't even know why I keep doing this thing, but, you know, people seem to like it. So, know you for a long time, but, you know, let's get to know you a little more. So, obviously, you play bass in a lot of fucking bands. We've been playing shows together, like your band, City in Ashes, with Decepticide.
Yeah, as soon as you guys came out, what year did you guys start?
2008. I think the video I was showing you of Summer Meltdown 4, that was our first Summer Meltdown. We had to battle for it. So we did the whole battle of the bands for it. And of course, you guys already been established. You know, we were a pretty new band. But, so let's start from the beginning, man. You're born and raised in Alaska. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm born here in town. Yep.
Yeah. So what made you start playing the bass?
Well, actually, I got a guitar first just because I'd never, seen a bass, you know? But it was mainly my brother Jared because he had, this Squire Strat. Mm-hmm. And, I was like, well, if I get good grades, my mom will give me some money, and I can get that Strat.
If you get good grades.
Mom was like, I'll give you some money for good grades. I was like, well, cool. I was like, I can maybe buy that guitar, you know? And I was like, yeah, and then my brother's friends would come over to jam, and there was these guys, they were brothers, and one of them played bass. I'd never seen a bass up front, you know? And I went downstairs, and I think I don't know.
What do you mean you never seen a bass? So how old were you?
Oh, I was like 11 or 10.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
dude.
this is like the 90s, like 1994 or something like that, you know?
Wow, dude.
So I'd never seen one up front, you know? I'm in 5th grade, you know? Mm-hmm. But then I went downstairs, and, my brother's friend had a bass, and I remember him going, boom, 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 boom. Like, oh, it's Crazy Train. I'm like, fuck, I bought the wrong thing. I was like, fuck, can I take it back? It's like, I'm like, well, I got it from my brother. So I just went down to Mammoth and traded it in. And I must have got good grades the next semester or whatever. And got a bass. And I remember at first my brother's just like, you're going to get a bass. That shit is whack. Just like, what the fuck are you thinking? I was just like, I don't know. I like the way it sounds. But then, after I started getting good, he was just after, and then he was like, you know what? Keep playing your bass. That's pretty cool. He was like, that shit is fucking whack. What are you doing?
Right.
I'm just like, I think it sounds cool, But then after I got good at it, he was like, never mind what I said about it being whack. It's pretty cool. Just keep doing it. Because otherwise, what are we gonna do? Sit here and have dueling solos and shit like that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But it's like he would have just crushed me,
Harmonize everything.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that would have been cool. But then it was just like, well, then who do we get to play bass?
That's very interesting.
Yeah. And then
a lot of people that start playing bass they're kind of forced into it. Yeah,
I mean, and it wasn't like I considered myself a guitar player to begin with. I'd only had it for a week or two, and then I was like, oh, fuck, I should have got one of those. It was like, ow. I was like, well, I can scrounge up some money. Maybe I get good grades. I'll go back down there. And I traded it in and gave him some money. I got a Washburn Lion.
Washburn?
Yeah.
Nice. So, man, so you were 11 by the time you started playing?
Oh, by the time I got a bass, I was probably 12. Yeah. So, yeah, I was 12 at that point. But yeah.
Now, before we even talk about music, we're gonna spend the first hour talking about skateboarding.
We can do that.
Well, we're not gonna spit. Yeah, but anyways, I know that you skateboard because you posted a couple videos on Facebook, and I was like, oh no shit, dude.
Yeah, I haven't done any real skateboarding in a long time. I think I'd probably hurt myself.
Oh,
But I've been skating on my trampoline though, and it's pretty fun. You should come over. You gotta try it. So it's hella fun. You don't gotta worry about wiping out or getting kicked out of places.
I never got good at that shit, dude. I tried, but that was terrible. I
got the ones with that they actually make the trucks for the trampoline.
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah, so that makes it a lot more, realistic. And some stuff on there, I could do better on an actual skateboard, but some stuff I can do on the trampoline. Like I could never do that.
Were you skateboarding before you start playing music?
Yeah, probably like I got a skateboard maybe like the year before.
Oh wow, man! So you did it for a long time. When did you? So how long would you say that you actually skated? Because I've been skating since '99, but
yeah, I mean we were still skating like in high school when we got a chance, but then it was like, you know, once you hit 16, you're like, well, I gotta get a fucking job, so I can get a car, and you know, and then it was like all of a sudden you got a car, you're like, well, I don't gotta skate everywhere, you know, but we'd still go skate, you know, it's just you know, I was never like good enough to do anything with it, and it was just like growing up in Alaska is just the worst fucking place to grow up skateboarding. It just was, but we didn't care, you know, like we didn't have a choice. You know,
when I moved up here, I was so lucky that Borderline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Borderline had just opened an indoor skate park.
Oh, the Indo, yeah, I remember that.
Indo.
Yeah.
They just opened. I mean, I got here in December, and I think they had just opened it like the week that I arrived here or something.
Yeah, in fact, when I was a senior in high school, me and my roommate had like month passes or season passes, and we'd go.
Oh, no shit.
School.
Okay, so how old are you?
I'm 37.
37. Okay, yeah.
So this would have been 2002. I think that's about when it opened.
I when I got here in 2001, it had just opened.
Yeah.
So like, I'm pretty sure
that was the closest thing to like a real park we ever had, but it was just so crammed in there. It was like you had to be good at that spot.
When they first opened, well, just like any skate park, every skate park has like its own flow, and once you get to know the skate park, you kind of know how to move around.
Oh, like when you go to like a different state or city and you go there and you're like, okay, these kids live here. They're obviously they're tearing this. Like they're a product of their surrounding. You know?
Right, dude. I went to a concrete skate park in Chicago, and when you show up, you're like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to do everything. And you don't do anything because you don't know how the skate park flows.
Yeah, you're like, I'm kind of embarrassed. Like, I'm better than this. Don't look at me.
Exactly, dude. It's so weird. Like, skate parks are like that. Like, you see it on videos, but like when you show up, all of a sudden you forgot how to skate.
Yeah. You're like, I mean, I've gone to skate parks with like out of state with my buddies and just been like, let's go to the parking lot and just do some flat ground stuff. Like I'm not good at and you'd be like, this kid skates this bowl every day. Like you see some kid not even that great, but he can nollie into a bowl, and you're just like, this kid's here every day.
Just knows.
Like, I'm not going.
Knows every inch of the skate park.
Yeah.
Knows every skate park has a flow. Indo had definitely a flow.
But back in the day, there was on the Air Force Base. There was a skate park, like an indoor one.
Yeah.
And we used to go there. I mean, it wasn't much, but it was still pretty sweet. And I have like video of it. Like we'd bring my camcorder. We brought it with us everywhere, and it was like the sharp view cam, and it was all big, and you had to carry this little case and stuff. But at the time, it was just awesome, Like we just took it everywhere, and I still have a bunch of the videos, and I'm watching the video of us skating at that park. I'm like, yeah, it's a cool park. And I was like looking back, I'm like, there's fucking Corey right there, And he's skating. I remember like, that's right. That's probably the first time I met him was skating at the park. Like there he is, and I used to look up to Corey like, fuck, that kid's good.
Corey?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Corey used to be great.
Corey Hackman?
Yeah, dude. I used to look up to him like, fuck, one day I'll be as good as that guy.
I had no idea he skated.
Oh, no. He used to be, he was, in fact, he would show up on the Borderline videos and stuff like that. Like, oh, there's fucking, yeah. So it was just like, look, I'm like, there's Corey right fucking there. And I'd be filming him and stuff. And it was like,
no shit, man.
Corey was good. Better than I ever was.
I had no idea. And playing in the scene for so long, in conversations, you find out that, like, guys in the scene like, oh yeah, I skate. You're like, oh what, dude? Fucking like, let's go fucking skate.
Like most like music and skateboarding almost kind of go hand in hand. Like usually if somebody's a musician, I'm just like, you skate too? And they're like, oh, at some point they're like, yeah, you used to. I mean, it's like it's something you got to keep up with,
Yeah.
It's like if you haven't skated forever, you're gonna hurt yourself. Or
I held on to it for as long as I could. I mean, I think even last year I was putting out some pretty good tricks out on
yeah, dude. I see you do
Facebook.
A backside lip slide and shit. I was like, damn, dude. It was like,
yeah, dude.
That shit's not easy.
Crooked grind to flip slide.
Yeah, and I was impressed. Like, fuck, man, he's still doing it. Like,
but
sweet.
I learned that trick like 10 years ago. So it's like I didn't progress much, but I would, like I said, I try to hold on to it to all my tricks. So I would go to a skate park and have fun, just have fun knowing what I know how to do, and not try too hard to like learn new shit. It's like for what, but. Yeah, I think this year was it, man. This year was, it kind of dawned on me.
Yeah, I mean, skateboarding's just so bad for your body. Like, it's fun, but you're likely to die out there. It's like, you might get hit by a car. You're might break your legs and be running from cops.
I'll take all that in, but I don't have anyone to skate with, and so when you go to a skateboard by yourself, it's like, you put on the music, and I'd rather skate without music. I'd rather skate with friends, and I like watching them what they're doing, and they watch you what you're
and that
doing.
was always cool
about supportive about it.
About skateboarding is like, even if you'd be there skating with dudes that were way better than you, they would know what you were pushing yourself to do, and when you did it, they would cheer for you.
Yeah,
they'd be like, oh, I could do that in my sleep, but you, like, they knew,
the
they sit there and it was just
That's the best feeling, man. Especially exactly.
Yeah,
that. People notice when you're trying, then you fucking land it.
Yeah, and then like everybody else turns into your crowd for a second, like, fuck yeah,
even if it's something that they know how to do, even with their fucking eyes
still
closed,
cheer for you.
Yeah, the fucking skating community is awesome. It wasn't too awesome back when I was first started skating here in Alaska. It was the people from Borderline were very competitive, and I think they were just very into themselves, and they were like, "Oh, we're in the Borderline team." And I think that's the first time I met Jason Atkins, from Spitchen. Didn't never talk to him, but he just had this aura of like, I'm with the Borderline guys. Come to find out, he's a fucking sweetheart, and he's awesome every time I see him now. But yeah, man, I tried to hold on to skateboarding. It was like the huge part of my life before music, and so big. I mean, I got to be sponsored by Northern Border for like about a year.
Dope.
But that's how I kind of started playing guitar, because I got sponsored. 2 weeks later, I broke my fucking foot.
Oh.
And I broke my foot doing nothing. I just did a crooked grind on the fucking kingpin fucking rail. Nothing. I do it all the time. Just jump on it, and I just locked in. And when I came out, I didn't really push my board forward to land flat. So I just kind of like, I kept the same angle, and I just came down to the pavement. And
I don't know what I would do these days if I broke my foot. I'd just be screwed. Like, I wouldn't be able to work.
Oh, me too.
Like, if you got a bum foot, you're just screwed, dude.
Yeah. Do you have kids?
No.
Imagine if you had kids.
Oh yeah, I'm like, get over here.
I have 2 kids, man, and it's like, well, like, I gotta keep my household, so like I can't just like.
So how long ago was it that you broke your foot?
Oh, that was I think I got sponsored in 2003, and that's where actually I met Nate Bass. Okay. We were just talking about him, but that's when I met him. I broke my foot, then I recovered pretty quick. I mean, I broke my foot towards the end of the summer, and then next summer I was full on skating, and Northern Border used to have a channel, not channel, but a TV show, and it was like on a Fridays or Saturdays, something like that. But Jay Liska, he was the owner of Northern Border, and so he planned to do this like Alaska tour, and it was so cool, man. A whole weekend just fucking on an RV with like 6-7 other skaters, and we're kids, man. Today that would look weird. A fucking grown man with like 7 kids, and they're not his, but dude,
at the time it was like,
at the time,
like a dream come true.
It was amazing, dude. I mean, I was there with my brother Steve, and that's where I met Nate, and we just went to every skate park around Alaska, except we didn't go to Fairbanks, but we went to Eagle River, then we came back to Anchorage, and then we hit Gearwood, Homer, Seward, and a bunch of other skate parks that I didn't even know that existed. And then all the footage got edited, and it played on that show that I was telling you about.
But yeah, like, people that don't skateboard don't realize that like skate videos end up becoming like part of your life, especially if you're part of the skate video. But it's like, but even like just like the pro videos that come out, it's like an album, like you remember the thing, like it, like it's like, or like, oh, I remember all the songs, and I remember every
exactly,
fucking, it's like he was like, it's like a record, like that's my favorite record, like that's my favorite skate video.
Exactly, because some of the skaters that became my favorite skaters, like, introduced me to music that I've never heard before, and so you start digging into the music as well. What was your favorite skate video?
I mean, probably to this day, probably still like Secondhand Smoke, Plan B. You've seen that, right?
I think so. I've seen so many.
It's from like '94, but it's badass. I mean, it got everybody: Rodney Mullen, Jeremy Ray, and Pat Chinita, and
oh man,
Danny Way, and just great video. And even the music's cool. I mean, it starts out with YYZ, the Rush song. Beela beela bing bing. I'd never heard the song. I'd never heard the song before that,
Right.
And that was the little intro, It was like, that's what skate videos were like. There wasn't really any talking on them back then.
Mm-hmm.
It just starts out and beela beela bing ding, beela 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 ding ding, beela beela bing ding, and it's like, oh sweet, they got Rush, But I'd never heard that song up until that point. So whenever I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, Secondhand Smoke. But I mean, like, that was 19. Nowadays, it's probably not even looked at as being like that groundbreaking. Like the shit kids are doing these days, I'm just like, what the hell was
Dude,
that?
it's ridiculous.
You know, and they don't. You'll see the video, and it doesn't even have their name on it. You know, at least back in the day, like 4-in-1 would always have their name on it. You know, you'd be like, oh, that's so and so. You know,
Right.
But like, I don't like sometimes like I don't know if this kid's even sponsored or anything. You know,
Right. I used to like the Transworld compilation. Well, I guess it was their own.
they
their
do
own-
the 16mm montage.
Yeah. That's where I got introduced to like Tony Trujillo and Chris Cole. That was one of the first times
He's
I saw,
still around.
I
Dude. That
saw
guy's been
Chris
skating
Cole.
forever.
Yeah, and but yeah, probably one of my favorite ones was The Storm by Osiris.
Oh yeah, I got that one.
And you know, Brandon Turner is just he was such a beast, man. He had the sickest switch hard flips ever, man. And you know, Guilty by Shorties was pretty cool. That when I moved up here, that's when Guilty came out. And
I don't think I've ever seen Guilty.
it's pretty short, and you know, they
Back in the day, was Fulfill a Dream was. the
Oh,
shortest.
yeah.
That was a pretty good video. Too.
Fulfill Dream is badass.
Remember Medic Madi?
Church of Skating
I never saw that one.
by Shorties. Yep.
That was pretty good.
What's the other one? But to me, the video that kind of like changed things, and like it went from like, okay, it's a skate video to like, this is like a fucking high production. This is almost a movie. Was Yeah Right.
Oh yeah,
Like Girl.
Yeah, with the
dude.
blue, the green screen
With the
stuff.
green screens,
yeah,
green screens, yeah,
yeah, because
man.
that was put together by like Spike Jones or something like that, right?
I think so.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is I have a photo that was sent in the mail to me from Weezer when I was a kid, and it has this photo credit Spike Jones, and they all signed it, and I have it framed. And I still have it, but they just sent it in the mail because there were nobody at the time. Like they'd just come out, and I was in the Weezer fan club. I was number 1212.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they sent, and I still have it all signed. Fucking Matt Sharp signed it. He's dead now, you know.
Oh shit, dude! You gotta. Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Dude,
I still got all sorts of weird shit. I have it all in like a Pelican case.
just take a picture of it and send it to me. So
Oh yeah.
we can put it in here.
Oh, dude, I got all sorts of weird shit signed by people, you know. But that one was just sent in the mail to me for free. I didn't really even ask for it. But now it's like probably worth something. I don't know. It's worth more to me than
Right,
You know,
yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
gonna sell it, but it was still cool. Like going through, like here's that fucking picture signed by
Well,
Weezer.
it's like
and
that.
it's on the set of the Sweater song, the little blue thing, and Spike Jones directed that too. He directed a bunch of good videos, you know. But it was said photo credit Spike Jones, and then it's them there, and they all signed it. I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet.
Well,
But yeah,
it's like-
Spike Jones did the Yeah Right video, and that was pretty cool. And he did the. Wait, he was behind the Chocolate Tour too, I think. Right? Remember that one?
I didn't see that one. I saw the Lakai. What is it called? Anyways, no, I didn't see that one.
But yeah, remember S or ES? They put out Manic Madi. That was a sweet video. That was another favorite of mine. I'd have to say either that or Secondhand Smokes. Like those are my favorites really. Oh, sorry.
The DC video when Danny Way introduced the Mega Ramp. That was pretty,
Yeah, dude.
and it was so badass because he fucking used.
And then he'd go back and like break his own record, you know.
Right.
And then he did the Great Wall of China. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I love the soundtrack. We know he played Orion by Metallica, and it's
That's right.
badass, dude. Yeah, badass.
Yeah, he
man.
always had Metallica on
Yeah.
this. Pretty much, you know, like even like on like the Revolution, which was like the last Plan B video. There's always Metallica on there, and even like the old ones, you know, like Questionable and Virtual Reality. They had like Motor Breath. That's how I live my life. You know, but it was like the cool like old Metallica when
Right.
Metallica was badass. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, I was fucking obsessed with Metallica. You know, like I thought they were
Dude.
so badass. You know.
And Metallica
Anywhere.
Metallica was my first band that introduced me to metal, or that kind of opened the door for me to accept metal, because I was into grunge and like punk rock and like pop punk shit like Blink-182, you know, the grunge like The Offspring and Alice in Chains and stuff like that. Never really liked screaming, you know, like my friends that would introduce me to this music, they'd be like, do listen to Korn or listen to all these other bands. And I was like, I don't really like that kind of stuff. And then my cousin from Colombia, he was like, I got this song just for you. It shows me one. It's like,
Oh, that song.
perfect.
Yeah.
Melodic.
Dude, that's right.
super
That's a metal
sweet.
masterpiece.
It builds up, and then to the last 3 minutes of it is like, this is the heaviest shit. And there's no way you don't like that. So after you love that, it just kind of opens the door to start listening to heavier shit. And this,
Yeah, like Injustice for All was well written, you know. Like it didn't sound as good as Master Puppets, but the songs themselves were badass, you know. Like
Yeah, there's a few ones there that are just short as straw. It's like I love them because, you know, it's Metallica, and like the year, the album, and everything about the album is badass. But it's like some of the songs are kind of like jams. They just feel like they were just jamming, and they was just it's kind of repetitive in some of the songs.
Yeah, and it was all like standard tuning, I'm pretty sure, and it was still pretty heavy. Like "To Live Is to Die," that's a great song. You know, I listened to that the other day.
I was just watching. I was on my YouTube channel the other day, and actually earlier, and we're watching when we did a compilation of Metallica instrumentals. So we opened up with "To Live Is to Die," transition into Orion, and then transition into the breakdown of One. And it's like, dude, yeah, those songs were badass, man. I mean,
yeah, I remember being a kid when like Load came out. I'm like, what happened to them?
When
like,
Load came out,
are they thinking?
I was in Colombia, so I was just getting into like Injustice for All, and I was getting into Metallica. So when that came out, I just remember my friends who had showed me like all this music. They were talking all this, and Metallica was coming down to Colombia to play, and they were like, fuck that, we're not going to that shit. It's like, what? You still go, man. They're probably still gonna play the first 3 albums.
Yeah, you know, I've never ever seen Metallica, and they even came to town a couple times, and I just didn't go because I was like, they're probably gonna play songs off a Load. You know, I should have gone though. Like, what am I thinking? You know, but at the time it was just like, you know, like the Black Album come out, and, you know, we remember us getting the Black Album like immediately and be like, yeah, you know, like,
dude,
we thought it was good, but like it's pretty soft, you know, compared to the other ones, but maybe the next album would be super heavy, and we were kind of hoping for that. And the Load came out, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I've waited this whole time.
I was like, oh, you guys hated that? Reload.
Yeah, it was like, dude, how'd you guys go from being the greatest metal band in the world to doing that? You know?
Oh, you didn't like that? Hold my beer. I've got something for you.
Yeah.
Reload, and then after that they go
Saint
they
Anger
go on
or something.
hiatus.
Like, I just stopped. I'm like, I'm not.
After that they go into hiatus for a long time, and then they come back with Saint Anger. I gotta say, actually, I like a few songs.
I think the Black Album's the last one I bought from them, and that came out when I was like 8. You know.
Huh.
But hey, when Slayer comes out with a record, I don't ask any questions. I just go buy it. You know,
you just
like,
buy it.
Yeah, it's like you can depend on them. Like they won't let you down.
I think they have like one bad album that barely sounds like Slayer.
What, Diabolus and Musaka?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they got a bunch of bad. I love that record.
Is that
like,
the one that sounds like punk rockish?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, I didn't realize they got a bunch of backlash for it until I was reading about it recently. They're like, yeah, this is Slayer's attempt at new metal. I'm like, what? Like, just because it doesn't sound like every other Slayer record, but it was still catchy. And like when it came out, I got it immediately and was like, yeah, this is dope. You know, like I thought it was a good record. You know, I don't think I've ever heard a Slayer record that I didn't like though. So
right, I bought the discography, and so I was listening to every single album. When I got to that one, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? It's just so different, but it's kind of
like slow and sludgy, but it's just like, but I mean, it's still them. Like once you hear Tom's voice come in, you're like,
well, it's kind of like God Hates Us All. I mean, I
love that record too.
It's a very different album, but I actually really like that one, dude.
That might be my favorite record by them. It's funny, like people that are always like, oh, whatever, the old Slayer records are better, and it's like, well, have you listened to the new ones? I'm like, I don't. You know, like the old Slayer records are good, but it's also people are like, I don't know if you've actually listened to the records. You're just saying that, you know.
Right.
But yeah, God Hates Us All. I thought it was a great record, you know.
So, yeah, anyways, I just wanted to ask you about skating, because, you know, skating was, like, a huge part. Like, it was very, very important to me. Like I said, I feel like I recently, like, just this year, I kind of put the last nail in the coffin, you know, like, I was trying not to be. And that's what, like, last summer, I was, like, making a point to, like, film the most that I can and put like some really good tricks, and like I'm like, hey man, like I'm still skating and, you know, putting good stuff out there. And then this year it just didn't work out, man. The entire summer it just kind of flew by, and, you know, I was kind of unmotivated. A lot of it had to do with like my friends. Like I just don't like skating by myself or go to the skate park by myself. You know, I like skating with friends. So I had some friends that just kind of
like music. Skating. It's like you got to have friends that you do it with, because that's how you get better. You know, it's like you work together on the shit. You know, it's like if you just sat around playing guitar by yourself, you'd never be good.
Exactly. Know? Yeah, and you know, I'm mainly talking about Nate. Nate, I'm talking about you. You fucking let me down this year. And he'd be like, well, you can go skate. I'm like, yes, I know I can go skate. I know that. Thanks for giving me your permission. It's just, I like skating with friends, man. Yeah, and it's just, when it doesn't happen, I just fucking, like, so summer went by, and then school started for the kids. And, you know, fucking, they're doing online schooling because of fucking COVID or whatever. So I took the week off from work, and their first 2 days, which was Thursday and Friday, their classes were done by like noon. So I was like, oh, well, fucking, it was nice outside. I told my kid, let's go to the skate park. So I took my kid to the skate park, and it was like pretty much the first time I was gonna skate in the whole 2020. Like I haven't skated all year, and I was like, hell yeah, it's fucking only 1 in the afternoon. I didn't go to work today. I'm well rested. It's nice outside. I feel good. I'm not hurting. Dude, we're there for 20-30 minutes, if even. I'm on the fucking quarter pipe, and then my kid got hurt, and so she's crying on the side. She like moved to the side, and I was like, okay, I'll be right down. And I come down. I try to do a crooked grind backslip. I do a K grind. I lean back too much, so I fucking and I came in too fast. I just came in too fucking fast. Anyways, I slid. I almost cleared the rail before I even locked into the crooked grind. So by the time I fucking landed on the other side, I landed outside of the landing. Like I landed all the way to the fucking concrete. And instead of like fucking like land and roll, which I'm an expert on falling. Like, look,
you gotta be. Skateboarding is.
I've been skating for almost 20 years since '99. I know how to fall, dude. My foot just got caught with the pavement, and all my weight just fucking crushed my foot. So like when I came down, instead of like coming out like this and roll, I just came out like this. Boom.
Were you thinking like, oh, I might have broke my foot again? Oh,
I
no.
just absorbed all the fucking impact on my foot, and like in one angle to where like I couldn't roll. I just came straight down, and I was so fucking hurt, dude. And my kid's crying, I'm crying because I can't fucking get up. So I get up and I'm fucking limping my way to her, and I help her get up, and like I'm trying to like walk it off. I'm just like, when you get hurt, you want to get up quick and start walking it off. That's what you call it, walk it off. Dude, I was just trying my best to fucking walk and act normal, and it was getting worse and worse by the fucking second. And so we sat down on the bench, and I tried to get up again, and oh my god, dude, that was it. That's all the skating I did for all 2020. It was 20 minutes. I got so fucking hurt.
And still more than I did, so I can't say anything.
And my fucking foot hurt for almost 2 fucking
But I
months.
think your kids would be like, well, my dad still got out there and, busted it out. My dad was grinding on some stuff. They probably think it was cool. Like, if I saw my dad do a crooked grind, I'd be like, yeah, Dad.
They see me, last year I was skating a lot. I was bringing my kids to the skate park, especially Salem, my oldest one. And, and I would eat shit, and I would roll out and fucking be bleeding or whatever. But, yeah, she'd be like, are you okay? She starts almost crying for me. I'm like, yes, I'm fine. I'm like, this happens, and this is what you need to do. You need to get up and just deal with the pain. And I was like, it's like a game. The game is, we're not going to cry over the pain. So let's see how much we can hold it in before.
Yeah, it's funny how much the skateboarding is that, just getting banged up and stuff. But when you finally land it, you're like, I don't care. It was worth it. I got my ass kicked, but I don't care. I landed that shit.
Dude, when you wipe out, for me, sometimes it wakes me up. And it's like, all right, dude, like, we're in it now. Like, I'm going to fucking land this. Especially if I wiped out, but, like, I was so close to landing it, I grabbed my board and just ran to the fucking other side.
Yeah, don't think about it.
All right,
yeah.
Dude, don't think about it. You just fucking land this shit. Yeah, dude, I fucking love it. But anyway, so that's so hilarious, man. So you start playing guitar, but then you went and traded it for a bass. But you were always interested in playing bass before even getting into a guitar, right?
No, I got the guitar first. I just didn't really know what a bass was, and then I seen my brother's friend playing a bass. And then I was like, oh, I should have got one of those.
And you thought that was cooler than the guitar?
Yeah, I was just like, I should have got one of those. And then I went and traded it in. So it's like, I mean, I had a guitar, but it wasn't like I was able to play it yet.
Right.
It was like, I didn't consider myself a guitar player. I just had a guitar and I was trying to learn,
So when, so you're like 12. When did you start actually playing with people, like starring bands?
I mean, I played like, coffee houses and little stuff like that in high school, but like as soon as I graduated high school, it was just like, and it was mainly my brother Jared, he was just like, well, you don't got to be to work in the morning, like, or you don't got to be to school. Just like, let's go make some money, just like. And so as soon as I got out of high school, I was booked. I mean, I've been booked pretty much 6 months out since the day I got out of high school. But it was like, it was like, all right, it was like, when you get out of high school, you can't make money doing shit anyways, and just like, so it's like, yeah, my brother's like, I'll get us some shows. Just like, all right, and at the time it was great because it was like, I get to play, get paid, I had my dad get me in and stuff like that, but it was like.
So what kind of music you guys were playing?
Oh, they were, like just kind of like rock and roll. Like, I mean, mainly like our songs, just kind of like, you know, Americana rock songs, you know, like,
Right.
you know, stuff that was, you know, easy listening enough you could play it in the bar, you know, and like, you know. So it was just like, and it was just like, just kind of how it started, you know, like, let's throw together a band, you know, like, you graduated, you know, like, okay. Like, that was pretty much it. And then I just got into other bands, just depending on who I met, you know, or whoever, you know, I was making friends with, and like, let's start a band, you know.
Right.
So it wasn't anything too serious, but at the time it was like cool, because I'm like, wow, I get to get into a bar and be treated like an adult, you know, and then when I'm done, they're like, get the fuck out of here, you know. But it was cool because it was like, I'd make more money than, you know, it was like either play some shows or bust tables all night, you know, and it was like, I'm going to make way more money playing shows than busting tables anyways, you know.
Right.
So it's just like, yeah, when you're 18, there's no way to make any money, you know. Just like,
right. So yeah, I think the first time I saw you play was around 2008. I think when I was in Murder's Justice, which was between 2005 and 2008. I don't think I ever talked to you, but you guys were not Sitting Ashes. I think that show I was showing you, Summer Melon 4 in 2008. I think that was your first. If it wasn't your first show, it was your first year that you guys went.
Yeah, I think we announced it at that.
To Sitting Ashes.
Yeah,
you guys changed your name.
It was the cuff, but we had like a total lineup change, and it was like we just wanted to start over. We didn't sound the same. It was
you
just
guys,
like, why are we keeping this name?
Well, first of all, it was the worst name I've ever heard for a band.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't want it. It was like, let's just start over.
I mean, no disrespect.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you fucking idiot. No, it's like,
oh, I mean, they were already a band when I joined, but I was just like, what? Fucked backwards, like.
It was like, why? It's like, kind of being clever, kind of being cute.
Yeah, because when you like
think you're being badass, I think it comes off that way. It's like, oh, fucked.
Yeah, it's like every time you're like, what's the name of your band? To Cuff, they're like, it's fucked backwards. Yeah, I know. You know, it was always like that. Like, can we just change the name? You know, like,
who came up with that name?
I don't know. I wasn't in the band at that time, but I guess it was our friend Joe Hart, I think. But it was like Jeremy and Matt were already in the band. And it's a funny story because it's like I just turned 21, and remember the riff contest?
Yeah.
They used to have those. Like, yeah, I remember them. It was like they did them in the 90s. In fact, my brother won the one in 1994, and he was like 16, you know. It was like, it was the riff contest too, you know. So we, you know, I was always like, oh yeah, they're gonna bring that riff contest thing back, and they were doing it at Club O, you know. And that's where I met Bobby. I just turned 21, and they were like, oh, you wanna judge this riff contest, you know. I was just like, sure. I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm a bass player, but like, you know, yeah, you know, I'll judge, you know.
Right.
And then Bobby shows up, and I'm like, this kid's badass, you know. Like, and then he was, yeah, I was like, just tearing it up, you know. And then, you know, they had the riff contest, and that's, you know, where I met Bobby, obviously. But then they were going to do the battles to see who gets into Summer Meltdown #1, you know. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if you know who Shredder Mark is.
No,
Mark.
Did you guys get to play that?
I was already playing it with another band I was in.
What band were you in?
That was Sleep Machine. We only played for like a handful of years, but it was like me and Eric Braun, Eric Cross, and Brandon Hafer. We just kind of thrown this. We're all friends. We're like, yo, we need to start a band together. You know, like we hadn't put out a CD or anything yet, but you know, we were already in just because because we were all just, you know. I don't know who was the head of it. They were like, all right, well, you guys got a new band. We'll put you guys in. You know, like they knew we'd been in whatever other bands. You know, so I was already in playing it. You know. But then there was the battle, and then Mark Purcella, I don't know if you know who he is, we always called him Shredder Mark.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the biggest Zakk Wylde fan ever. So he was, you know, and I worked with him, and, you know, he was just like, yo, you wanna play this battle with me? And he's like, sure. And he's like, oh, you know, and he knew Bobby, so he was like, me, you, and Bobby, and this guy Steve, you know, playing drums. So, like, you know, we show up there to play this battle. We're not even playing original songs. We're playing like Black Label Society songs. Like who's gonna you know, we had just started out, but we just wanted to play the battle. We didn't really care, you know, we weren't really a band, you know.
Right.
So like, yeah, so the first week, me and Bobby and Mark and Steve, you know, play these songs, and we weren't particularly good or anything. We didn't care. We just want to play, you know.
Did you guys call yourself anything? Were you guys a band?
Not really.
No?
We call it Snowblind, like the Black Sabbath song. But it was just like, we weren't taking it seriously. It was just like, yeah, let's play that thing, because we just had nothing else to do, you know?
Right.
And I think I might have had to take the night off to play that show or whatever. But we showed up to play that, and then Matt and Jeremy had their band To Cuff, showed up to play.
Give me 1 second.
Technical difficulties.
Did not press record on this thing.
Huh?
I did not press record on this thing. This one's recorded.
Oh, so neither of those are on? Oh, well, we still got that one, right?
Oh yeah. All right, so half of this is gonna have only one shot. most people watch this anyways. Don't watch it. They listen to it. And anybody that asks, they're like, "Yeah, I'll listen to it." Just, I'm not gonna sit around for an hour watching you talk. I'm like, I get it. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, so we played this battle at Club O to see who gets into Summer Meltdown, But then Matt and Jeremy's band, The Cuff, was there, and they played, and they won, because they had, they were better than us, and they had original songs and stuff like that,
okay.
Well, I didn't know them at the time,
Mm-hmm.
But their singer had called me on the phone to see if I could play bass for him, because he got, like, my number from my boss, Justin. Was like, oh.
So did they not have a bass player?
Well, they did, but he was like, he wanted to go off to like race car school or something like that. It was like, I mean, he played bass, but he wasn't,
Right.
wasn't like really into it or committed or whatever. So they played and they win. Yeah, and they'd already called me, or maybe they called me after that. And I was like, yeah, I was there last week. I was in Snowblind with Bobby. And they'd asked me about it. I'd never met him. So anyways, he shows up at my job. He's like, yo, can you do this? And they asked me about it a couple times, and then it was like the battle. It was like the next week, and it was time to battle again because they'd gotten into the semifinals or whatever. And they're like, well, we got to play next week. We don't have a bass player, And we're like, can you help us out? And I'm just like, well, I got to work tonight. And they're like, well, like, isn't Justin your boss? And I'm like, yeah. Like, well, he owns Club O, And you're just like, well, tell Justin if he gives you the night off, you can play the battles tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So I called him up. He's like, yeah, dude, I'll get you covered. It was like, it was the next day.
Shit, dude.
So I show up there. I never even met these guys before.
No
we practice the songs. We go the next night. We win. I literally showed up to the show the next day. Like, all right, your name is Matt, right? And like, your name is Jeremy, right? And I had them right, but I met the guys the night before, Like, I didn't plan on being in their band or, that we were going to go off and start another band or I didn't, I just met them,
Wow, dude.
So they get into the first Summer Meltdown, and then, their bass player back in town or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm already playing. Just, go play with them. I'm not worried about it. Like, but I felt bad for them because like they were pretty good and they had worked really hard, and then all of a sudden the bass player is gonna be somewhere, and they're like, fuck, we're getting the shaft here. Like, I was like, well, shit, I guess I can help out. Like, I felt, I just wanted them to, I just wanted them to win, I just wanted them, to win to get into Summer Meltdown. So I wasn't even planning on being
right.
In their band at that point anyways. And, and it was like, the drummer and the singer, went off and, they're not in bands anymore, but I mean, that's how I met Matt and Jeremy. That's how I met all those guys, really.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so I played the week before I played with Bobby's band, and then I played with them the next week, and then we won, and then it was like, and then Summer Meltdown was on, and that was the first Summer Meltdown. We'd never done one before.
It was massive.
Yeah,
I was there. I won the raffle guitar that everybody supposedly signed, and anyways, fucking, how many people attended to that Summer Meltdown? How many people attended to the Summer Meltdown? I love to know the fucking number.
I don't know. I mean, it was a good turnout there. Yeah, I mean, what else is everybody gonna do?
Yeah, dude, it was.
And it was nice and sunny, and yeah, it was fun. Anchorage had never seen anything like that. It was just local bands, but we didn't care. That's all we wanted,
Oh, dude, they had no way, dude. They brought a couple bands from our state.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about the first one,
right?
Yeah, the first one was just all locals, right? Well, I mean, they had 36. Oh wait, they had 36.
What was the first one?
Oh no, maybe they had 12 tribes. They had 12 tribes.
Yeah.
That's 36 and 12 tribes.
That's where I was going, dude.
Yeah, that was.
I saw 12 tribes, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think I bought anything besides a fucking 12 tribes fucking CD because I was so blown away. And I was fucking young. I didn't have any fucking money. But,
yeah, that's the first time I heard them.
And I had to buy the fucking CD. I mean, they were so fucking good live, man. they reminded me a lot of like Shadows Fall. Like their music wasn't nowhere close to it, but like I don't know, something about the sound of the guitar, the vocalist, and yeah, they just reminded me a lot of Shadows Fall. So amazing, that's hilarious, dude. So your first show with
I met him the night before
with the Cuff,
and I had like a little cheat sheet. I'm just like,
it's for a battle of the bands, and then you play Summer Meltdown.
yeah.
But
I didn't play with them. I just got them in, and then their bass player came back. And then, so I went and played with my band, and then
so you got him in, and then you played with your band at Summer.
Yeah, so it wasn't like I'm joining the band. It was like I'm gonna try to get you guys through tomorrow and not fuck it up. You know.
So when did you actually join them? Eventually, the bass player went away.
Yeah, and then they were just like and I was like, well, I can't really commit to anything, but whatever shows you guys got, I'll play them with you. And but I mean, those battles might have been the first shows that.
That's the kind of music that you can pull out. That you can be like, yeah, okay, I see what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I mean, the songs weren't like they weren't like very complicated or anything, and I feel like fucked up on some parts, but still, it was like I feel we still won that night.
Yeah,
so that's
I feel like if I ask you that kind of favor, you'd be like, I don't know if I can.
Well, I mean, joining a band is a big commitment. It's like
no. I mean, if like, hey, dude, could you just play a show with us tomorrow?
For you guys, I've known you of course. For you guys, it's like, but if I didn't know you guys, I'd be like, fuck, I don't know, I don't know. For you guys, it'd be like, at least I just feel like I've heard the songs and everything.
Right. Yeah, but I feel like we have like a lot of changes, and with those changes coming fast because we're playing fast. So Band of Steel and Natch is kind of like heavy, but like it's kind of pretty consistent on like with their flow of music.
Yeah, I mean, and the Cuff sounded totally different than we. I mean, it was 16 years ago. So I was like, yeah, shit changes. But
so you joined a band, then you guys decide to change the name because change of lineup.
Oh yeah,
You guys now you guys have drummer Dave.
Yeah, and we had a different vocalist. We sounded different. I mean, as soon as Dave joined the band, we started sounding different because like Dave was just on a different level, I guess.
I only saw you guys play as the Cuff one time. I think it was the first year. It was 2008. It was probably right before you guys started making all these changes. And it was a Club O, and it was the only time I ever been to Club O. Besides the Summer Meltdowns that were happening in the parking lot, I went to the two that happened there in a row. And I think Ryan and I went to check you guys out, and I think we had just missed your set, or like we cut the last song. And then after you guys, Shrapnel was playing. I don't know if you remember those guys, Connor and Jesse, and
yeah,
and that's funny.
I do remember them. God, they were playing back then, huh?
Yeah, dude. They played right after you guys, and
those guys were cool.
They were doing some Metallica covers and some Pantera covers, and I guess Ryan and I were laughing, but I wasn't really laughing at them. I was kind of like, I wasn't really laughing. I think I was just happy to hear somebody play Metallica or Pantera at the time, because like nobody was doing that. That seemed to be like a whack thing to do, because in those times, like 2008, 2009, man, like 36 Crazy Fist was so fucking hot that everybody or every band was trying to sound like it or just be on the genre of music. So for us, it was pretty cool to see those guys, try to be kind of more like old school metal and do stuff like that. That's why like a band like Turbo North from Fairbanks was like my favorite thing that's ever come out of Alaska, because it's not because it's better or worse. It's just right up my alley, like.
Yeah, I remember seeing them at Egan Center, and they were pretty badass. Pantera came up here to the Egan Center when I was in high school. It was awesome.
Did you go?
Fuck yeah, I went.
Oh, man.
I was like, shit is going down tonight. I was like, fuck yes. I'm like a sophomore in high school, and it was just, it was Egan Center. You could just climb your way right up to the front, and that was the only time I saw him, But I didn't know Dimebag was going to die,
Oh,
but yeah, they were badass, though.
Fucking you, man. That's amazing, dude. God damn it, you best. I've heard stories from people here that
I think it was probably still the 90s back then. I don't know if Reinventing the Steel had come out yet. I think it was probably about 99.
Yeah, I've heard they came out in 90 something. Because I came up here in 2001. I was introduced to Pantera in my sophomore year, I think, or my junior year, and which was 2004. And
they were already done by then.
By then, they were already Damage Plan. So I used to collect every single Guitar World magazine, and I remember when the issue of Damage Plan came out, and it was the release of Newfound Power, and yeah, I was in love with Pantera, and now Damage Plan came out. I was like, that's a cool band too. I didn't know much about the drama of the band back then. There's no like internet the way internet is now, so like there's no way for you to like check all the, you know, the whole history or the gossip of it. But I remember 2004, December 2004, that's when he died. I'm pretty sure that's right. And I was driving to school, and I always had K-Will on in you know, the Bob and Mark show. And I remember that turn on the radio, I'm driving, and then, you know, they're talking about his death, but like my English was still pretty choppy, just the way it is now. I mean, it's slightly better now, but back then I was like, you know, I couldn't really make out what they were saying, and it's very confusing. I mean, that shit is kind of like 9/11. Like, you're like, this shit isn't happening.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't want to believe it. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm hearing this wrong.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of people calling the radio station just saying that, hey, just want to confirm that if it's true that Dimebag fucking died. And Bob be like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. He was shot last night at, whatever. And I was like, no way. And my first class was like, it was some computer class, like computer design or some shit like that. And you could get on the internet at this time. And as soon as I opened the internet browser, like on the fucking Yahoo News front page, it was there somewhere in there. And I was like, dude, like, I never felt the death of someone who wasn't even, like a musician or an actor or somebody important in the public eye that affected me, but like that was like a gut fucking punch, man.
Yeah, it's like on stage in front of his brother, like, fuck.
Oh yeah, dude, when I heard about it, no, the worst was years later when Behind the Music came out on VH1.
Oh, dude, I can't watch that without crying. Like, if I watch that, I'll cry.
I was bawling when I saw that, dude, because I wasn't ready to see that. And if I could have had the choice of not seeing it, I think I would have like opted for that. Yeah. Like, I don't want to see that.
That was definitely the Behind the Music that
watching that guy get up on stage, just pointing a dime, and hear the scary, shots, dude. And you're like, I didn't know they were gonna show that. Like, what the fuck is this shit, man? Yeah, it was pretty fucking ridiculous. I mean, because the way I got introduced to Pantera was Reinventing the Steel, because I've heard the name Pantera even when I lived in Colombia and I was getting just into Metallica. My same cousin, he was like, oh, you should listen to Pantera, and I was like, no, I'm good. I was like, I just thought it was a dumb band name. It's like, it sounds like some classical, like, I don't know, pop rock. I don't know. I just didn't even try to give it a chance. I just thought the name was stupid. And that sounds pretty dumb, excuse, but. And then my guitarist brother, he showed me Revolution's my name, and at this time I'm already playing with Adam. I think that's when I met Adam.
I remember buying that the day it came out.
Dude,
like, fuck yeah!
Just that intro is like, it's like all this wailing, all this wild distortion, super heavy.
And they were like, they put that on the radio too. It was like, man, that's the coolest hit song I think I've ever heard. And
it's like, what the fuck is that? First of all, is that even a guitar? 'Cause it doesn't sound like it. And then it hits the open chord. Does a drum fill and then hits it with the riff, and it was like, damn, dude, it sounded so fucking good. At this time they're playing in low tune, and I think they didn't drop D standard, so full step down, and so they sound really fucking heavy, and just Phil's vocals, man, they're just so fucking like in your face, and I was like, god damn it, this is Pantera, fuck.
Oh yeah, I remember not knowing what Cowboys from Hell was. It was just Vocal Display of Power, and it just came out, and it was like, and at the time that was like the heaviest shit we'd ever really heard.
What's your favorite album?
Probably Far Beyond Driven. I don't know. I like them all though.
I used to
either Far Beyond Driven.
I used to always say Vulgar, but I think Far Beyond Driven is my favorite album.
Yeah. Because I remember that was about to drop when I first heard Pantera. So, like, the Vulgar Display of Power had come out at that point. My brother had the tape, and he had this old blue Subaru, and we'd drive around listening to Pantera. Because at the time, it was just a shit, like, it was just so heavy. And it was funny, like, I remember, like, what's that song, Rise? And it was like, forget, or whatever he says there. I remember being a kid and thinking he was saying, fuck you, and be like, wow, this guy's hard, But at the time, we were like, this is awesome, So it's time to rise. Yeah, that was the shit, And then
be a man, not a child.
Yeah, and then Far Beyond Driven came out, and that was pretty hardcore. But then I remember, like, Great Southern Trendkill coming out, and never heard it, and just start like this. We thought that was so badass. It was like, and at the time that was heavier than the record before. Like, fuck, they got heavier, and it just starts out just
Oh,
the
dude.
Great Southern Trendkill. Fuck yeah. He just throw that shit in there. That's right. Like, just, but yeah, at the time, Phil was like the best fucking front guy. Like, this guy's badass,
Dude.
And he just looked like somebody you'd want to fuck with.
I mean, is the guy, he's like the standard to what you want your frontman in your band to be.
Oh, yeah, he changed the.
So you'd be like.
Everybody started singing like that.
Be Phil. No, like, it's not even like. You think, everybody has their own voice, their own style. Like, but dude, as far as being a frontman, be Phil Anselmo. I was like, if you watch Pantera live,
yeah, he looks like he's gonna kill
Phil
somebody.
Anselmo, dude. It's the confidence this guy had in himself, and it wasn't like, oh, he's so cocky. Like, no, dude, like, he believes he's the fucking a god up there, and it's not that he's above you. It's just that he commands you. Like, he's
he was the one that made Pantera.
He takes you in our fucking ride, man.
He's the one that made Pantera get super heavy, because he was like from New Orleans. He was like, they didn't know about all these other bands, and he's like, we got to make this shit heavier. Like, get rid of that fucking spandex shit, I mean, I'm sure they were a badass band either way, but it was like, I'm glad that Phil joined, obviously. And then they were officially Pantera at that point.
Oh, man. So going back to your band, so you guys started in City and Ashes, but the kind of music that you're playing before this, you never really played in a metal band before this, or did you?
I mean, I'd played in metal bands, but we didn't like play shows. It was like high school.
Mm-hmm.
We'd meet at my boy Brian Davis's house and play metal every day after school.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny, like, that's the first time I heard of Slipknot. They'd put out Wait and Bleed in Guitar World, So I hadn't seen the guys like all weekend. We show up there on Monday and they're like, check this out. And they had the whole thing down there. I found the moon. I was like, I didn't know what it was. And they got done with the song. I was like, please tell me that's one of our songs. They're like, nah, it's Slipknot. It was, I was like, fuck, really? I was just sitting there like, this song is awesome. And they had the whole thing down. I was like, fuck yeah. Please tell me you guys wrote that. They're like, no, it's Slipknot. It was in Guitar World. Like, fucking shit.
Please tell me we had a hit single.
But I remember showing up, at that same spot with Reinventing the Steel, like right as it had just come out, and then it's turning on, bow, bow, and everybody's like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. It'll come out like that day, So that was about 2000, but that was about the time, like the first Slipknot had come out. But I was like, please, but it was like we just play in the basement every day, and we didn't play any shows. Like, where the hell would we play shows at? But we still thought we were great, And it was, Brian, he knew Jared before I knew him, but then we had math together, and they were a couple years ahead of me, And I think I was humming a Pantera song, and like next to him, and he was just like, "Are you humming Pantera?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, oh, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, he's obviously metal. And he's like, "How do you know about Pantera?" I'm like, "I'm Jared's little brother." Like, holy shit! Like, you play guitar? Like, no, I play bass. Like, what are you doing after school? I was like, well, I don't have a car yet, And then I got a car because I had turned 16 eventually, and I was like, all right, you gonna come over? I was like, all right, cool. And then we just started. But they'd played the talent show with their old bass player, and I remember, and I was there with my camcorder, and I filmed it, and I still have the video footage, and I took a little video and sent it to him, like, oh, here's your first show played at the talent show. So I knew who they were, and I had heard the songs because I had watched the video again. And so I showed up there. I was like, dude, you already know the songs? I was like, well, yeah, I was at the talent show and I filmed it, and so we we started this little metal band. And we never played any shows. And then they graduated, and I was still in high school, and then they went off to school. And I was like, but it was fun while it lasted.
That's funny.
But yeah.
One thing you said is like, well, I don't even drive. It's like, this is why we say that Kevin has like teenager high school problems as a fucking grown man, and he drives us fucking crazy. Like, when I first asked him to join our band, it was just, I've asked him twice, and the second time he finally agreed to it. But the first time, I think we're at Coots, we're taking a piss. And I was like, hey, dude, could you just please join my band? It's like, we need a bass player. I think Pat had just left, our bass player at the time. And he was like, oh, man, but, I don't drive. Like, I don't have a car. Like, I live in fucking Mountain View, so you guys would have to pick me up or, hook me up with some rides here and there. I was like, never mind. I was like, grow the fuck up. Like, a year later, after Mike Chia played with us for like a year, same thing. He fucking kind of quit. I don't even remember why Mikey left, because we loved having him in the band, but anyways, he fucking quits, and or he, I don't know, something happened. I don't think he quit or we kicked him out. I think he was just back into spit shine thing or something like that. So same exact scenario, taking a piss at Coots. There's Kevin. I'm like, dude, would you join my band? He's like, I still don't have a car. I'm like, fine, I'll pick you up. So he joins the band, and I only picked him up like literally twice. After that, he had a car, and like it was good. And now this kind of we have problems that because he doesn't have a vehicle, so he's MIA.
But yeah, like back then it was like I had one bass and one amp. It's like that's all you need. But it was just like so so I was like, well, I gotta get that all the way across town to Brian's house. Like.
Did you ever move out of state or try to live somewhere else?
No, this has always been home. I mean, I've been other places, obviously, for extended amount of time. But yeah, I mean, this will kind of always be home, even though I hate it at the times,
Well, especially now. I mean, it's like the best place to be for COVID and the worst place to be for COVID.
Yeah, it's like COVID was way cooler in summertime. Like now I'm just like, oh, fuck, it's cold outside. I'm bored. At least in the summertime, like, I'll go mow the lawn, Now it's just like, it's cold as fuck outside.
Oh, in Alaska, when it's fucking winter, it's like, oh, let's go to the fucking bar. Oh, wait.
Yeah, it's like...
There's nothing going on.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even have anything to spend my money on. There's nothing going on. You know, like no shows, no nothing. It's like, that's the last thing that Anchorage needs.
Dude, before
like,
I came up
already
here,
falling apart.
Yeah, before I came up here, like we were watching like some of my old videos on YouTube. And every time we finish a video, she looks at me and she's like, can you just book a show right now, Coots? And can we just do that? I'm like, we can't. I'm like, no, they're not going to just let us play a Coots and like just watching like a crowd going crazy in front of us. I'm like, people will lose their mind if they saw that today.
Feel bad for like all the people that depend on music just solely as their income,
Well, we kind of do it as a hobby and we have like our daytime job, but like there are bands, there are cover bands. I mean, you're in a pretty like respected cover band that stays pretty busy, and I mean, I don't know what you guys
not really lately. We've only played like 6 shows since.
But I mean, last year you guys were busy as shit. I mean, I think last year I even mentioned you about like joining the band or like if you would consider come jam with us, and then it's like your band was so active. I was like, oh, dude, it's like Christian's not gonna cancel one of his gigs where they're gonna pay him to come play metal with us at Coots. So it's not gonna happen. But.
Yeah, I mean, last summer it was just grueling, It was kind of nice to take a little break this summer, but it just sucks for the whole scene, though, Like, the whole scene was kind of dying anyways, And, like, all the venues that have closed over the years and stuff, like, man, this is definitely not helping. But, like last summer, like, usually in a summer, Woodrow's playing 30-some-odd weddings, So even when I'm, it's not, so even when I'm not on stage in front of everybody, like we were still playing.
I don't think
I've like 3 or 4 nights a week.
Ever seen you play on this band though?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I quit like a year ago, but
I know
we were playing this constantly, and it was like and between all the bands, it was like.
What kind of music you guys play?
Oh well, for the weddings, we're just doing like covers, But I mean, it was Woodrow, me and my brother.
Like Raining Blood and fucking.
Yeah, Did you see Ice-T and Body Count did a cover of Raining Blood? It was pretty cool. Like Slayer's. I guess Slayer's like Ice-T's favorite band. I was like, man, now I got a new respect for Ice-T. Like I already loved Ice-T, But he's hilarious, Like, but yeah, they did a cover of Raining Blood, and it was pretty good. And Ice-T's up there fucking singing, and he's like, And then, like Ice-T's hilarious. Like, have you seen like Centuries of Torment, the Cannibal Corpse documentary?
No.
You'd love that. It's pretty good. It's like 3 hours long, and they go through all these lineup changes. But it's really like fun and lighthearted. It's not like the Pantera one where you're like, if I watch it, I'll fucking cry. It's like It's like 3 hours long, and it's fucking cool. But it's got all this, and it's a great documentary. But yeah, it's got Ice-T on it. And he's talking about Cannibal, and he's like, but he doesn't even. But Ice-T doesn't try to be funny. He's just like he just is.
You're right.
He's just like he's like it's like usually unless you got this death metal decoder in your brain, you don't know what the fuck this guy's saying. It just sounds like there's a monster on the microphone. It's just like he's like
this metal decoder. That's exactly what it is. Like you have to be a metalhead, and you have
Ice-T understood it though.
Listen to shit for such a long time to where like you actually don't even need to look at lyrics. You're like, oh yeah, I can hear what he's saying. That's exactly right, man. Like.
And it's funny, people that aren't into music, like, well, I can't tell what he's saying. Like, who fucking cares what he's saying? Like you never
Doesn't
heard
matter what he's
like,
singing.
Have you never heard a song in a different language? It doesn't matter what they're saying.
Exactly.
Like, the song is the
did
fucking
you know
song.
listen to it because like it's in French or fucking Spanish? Like,
yeah, and that's the worst is just talking to people. Like I can't stand talking to people that don't know anything about music and they want to talk about music. You're just like, no, you're gonna piss me off, dude. Like you just no. It's like who cares what the fuck they are saying? You know. Like it's music. Fucking listen to it.
That's hilarious. I have to have the talk with like family members. They're like, "Well, I like your music, but like I don't understand what your vocalist is singing about." Like,
it's like, dude, if you want a message in English, go pick up a book. You know, like it's music. Fucking listen to it.
I think it was my wife that was like, "Oh, you should put captions on the music video." I'm like, "No, that's not how it works. It's not important. I mean, I'm not saying what Ryan sings is not important. I mean, probably most likely isn't, but still, it's." I remember when I was playing with Turbo North in Fairbanks, I had a conversation with somebody, and we were having this kind of conversation. They were like, "Well, I just can't understand what he's singing." I was like, first of all, Turbo North, you should understand what Turbo North is singing because they're pretty Pantera-ish, and their style of singing, like my buddy Jason's, the vocalist from Turbo North, he was pretty clear on like his vocals and shit. So it wasn't like he was out there screaming like fucking Cannibal Corpse and like you couldn't make up anything he was saying. But second of all, it's like, dude, you gotta look beyond. First of all, I think you're just making an excuse to like not like it. You're like, look at all the screaming, and like, dude, listen to the. First of all, listen to the music, the guitars, the drums, what they're fucking doing, and if you want to focus on the vocalist, like, dude, listen to the passion that he's screaming things out, dude. It doesn't matter what he's singing about, he's screaming about, dude. But you think that's easy to do, and it's not even that the fact that it's hard to do and make it sound good, but like to do that you have to have some passion for that. You have to have some energy. You're putting out some energy out there that is far beyond any hip hop fucking song you're ever gonna hear. And say what you want about metal music, musicians, dude, not everybody can do that. It takes a fucking real musician and like a dedicated musician to be a metal fucking musician because it's fucking hard.
Yeah, that's funny when like other musicians make fun of metal. They're like, what is he so mad about? It's like, no, he's not mad about anything. But it's like, dude, it's like when you and your friends
if you knew how happy he was.
Yeah, when you and your friends write some badass metal songs, and then you get out there and you present them in front of a big ass crowd, and everybody goes crazy and they fucking love it, and people are beating the shit out of each other, and everybody's sweating their ass off. You know, it's like once you do that, you'll be like, wow. That was amazing. There's no turning back after that point. Like everything else is boring after that.
Nobody's angry.
Yeah.
Go to a metal show, packed metal show.
Yeah, nobody. But it's like
you can't fake that energy in any other kind of style of music. I mean, if to each their own. And if there's there's a hip hop concert, people dance, and everything's pretty chill. So it's a different type of energy. It isn't even that it's higher or lower. It's just like different vibe, a different type of energy. The energy on a metal show is just it just fucking makes you feel alive, man. Just the intensity of it, like you can't fucking
like as far as performing music, that's in my mind is like the ultimate. Everything else is kind of boring after that. Everything else gets kind of watered down.
I mean, you more than anybody like know, and you experience it, because you play with so many genres of music. You've been to packed venues for every single genre that you play. So like if you play in I Like Robots, you have packed the venue and they're all dancing and enjoying themselves, and there's an energy.
It's like a different kind of high than
you are in Woodrow. You have played to a packed venue and there's a different kind of fucking, and then you've been to a metal show that is packed, dude. Dude, that shit is crazy, man. It puts everything else to fucking like, okay, I mean, if I could do this every fucking night, every weekend.
It's like you have an adrenaline rush the whole time.
Whole
and you're just like, I'm fucking freaked out, But after that, everything's boring. It's like if you were like a race car driver, and then all of a sudden you're stuck in like a 35 mile, like a speed zone. And you're just like, I'm fucking bored, dude. Fucking let's go, It's just like after that, it's like, well, I'm used to driving 200 miles an hour. Like this is boring. 35 miles an hour, I can't do this. It's like Sammy Hagar. Can't drive 55.
Being on stage on a packed show as I'm in a metal band. It's better than sex. It's better than anything. I mean, especially
everybody has sex,
Ask me if I'd rather have sex or have fucking play a metal show in front of a packed fucking venue. I'll take the latter every fucking time.
I'm not even gonna ask.
I'll take the latter every fucking time, man. It's amazing. the way the energy moves on the venue, it's a thing that only the guys on standing on that stage know about it, and they can. It's weird. There's this energy, and you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. Also, you gotta be in a good band. I mean, you can't just fucking get up there and then fucking eat shit and then expect people to like the shit that you're putting out. I mean, you gotta be in a good fucking band. So when you're in that position, if you're lucky to be in that position to where like you're in a great band, you guys got great songs, and then you got a packed fucking venue, dude, you feel like a god. You feel like you have this power. You can either play and just stand still, the wheels stand still, and the
like,
moment you decide,
feeling the stage rebel, you're just like, that's me. I'm shaking the whole room, you know.
Dude,
it's cool.
So one of the videos I was just watching, it was when we were open for 36 last December, which, like, you know, we're coming up to our first year of not playing music at all, not playing shows at all. It's so fucking sad. But watching this video, we're playing one of our new songs, and it's a pretty hard song to play for me, but it's hard because I'm the only guitar player in there, so I gotta fucking be on it. If I had a single guitar player, I think I'll be rocking the fuck out more, because this song gets me so fucking pumped. But being the only guitar player, I gotta make sure I play all the riffs right. And I can tell that I'm watching this video, and I got the camera behind me, so the shot is like from, you know, just filming right behind me, and we're playing super fast. And god damn it, Brian is just an amazing drummer. I was just like, god damn it, this fucking kid, and he just killing it, and I'm killing it, like playing the riffs right, but I almost can't fucking move because I gotta play it right, and it only sounds good if I fucking play it right. But I want to rock the fuck out. When I finally get to the spot where I can rock out and play good, because it's just heavy and chunky, whatever, dude, you can just tell, you know, since the camera's behind me, you can see the crowd in front of me. So it's like you're on stage with me. So you can see that, yeah, everybody's going, like, you know, they're moving and whatever, and we're playing fucking fast. But when I finally get around to move, it's like the moment I move and fucking start headbanging hard, everybody headbangs with you. It's like you have total control of what happens. Which is what I'm getting at. Is like, I could have just stood there the whole song, play it right, they were having a good time, they were moving. But if I fucking move, you move. Dude, it's amazing. It's amazing, dude. That energy,
like,
you can't compare with anything else outside of like that, being on that stage in that moment. Like outside of that, like, you can't have that with anything else, with your job or fucking driving around or
yeah. You can be like blind and deaf in the crowd, and you'd be like, okay, there it is, you know. It's like, yeah, dude. And just like, there it is, move, you know. It's like
those visuals, man. Just seeing energy, and you just see that energy just move in the room. When you move and they move with you, it's like, fuck, man.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, you know, people that don't know anything about music and, you know, make weird assumptions about you and stuff. They kind of think like, oh, you just do that because you're like an attention whore and you just want to act like a jerk in front of everybody. And it's
the
like,
thing that you're angry too.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, it's like, oh, well, you know, like, you're just in it for the pussy or whatever. And it's just like, it's like, all right, because like, go start playing music. Well, like,
first of all, not for a metal band.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like, okay, go pick up an instrument. And it's like, work on it for however many years, and you'll be lucky to ever get into a band that's halfway decent. And it's like, and if you get in a band that sucks, you're gonna get fucking laughed at, you know, and everybody's gonna treat you like a fucking asshole because you're in a shitty band. It's like the chance that you're ever gonna even be in a good band is slim to none, you know. It's like, no, you have to do it because you love it, and then eventually you're like, well, fuck, I guess I'll start a band, you know. It's like, you have to do it because you love it. It's like, you're not doing it just because you're like, look at me. It's like,
there's so many variables
the chances,
to be in a good band. Exactly, it's a thing of chance, man. I've said this for fucking years, man. I've said it again, man. I am just so lucky that I run into the people that I did, man. That Brian's my drummer and Ryan's my vocalist, man. Because they're not only my bandmates, they're my fucking brothers. They're my best friends. Which means, like, if we break up this band tomorrow, we won't. But if we did, if for some reason we just can't play music, let's say this place caught on fire, we don't have instruments, we won't have instruments for a whole year, 2 years, I'm still going to be hanging out with those guys. Like, I'm still going to be friends with it. We're still going to go hunting, we're going to go shooting, we're going to go four-wheeling, we're going to do a lot of things. So I'm lucky.
Like all my friends that have, you know, made since high school are all musicians. Like, I don't hang out with anybody from high school, really. It's like, what would we do, you know? It's like, that's where I met all the best people of my life, is music just brought us together, and all of a sudden we were both standing there like, hey, what are you doing? Like, oh, what's up? You know, like, how do I think I met you, you know? know.
Exactly.
Shit, I met Ryan in 8th grade because we were in choir together, you know.
I didn't know that, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you guys were in school together?
Yeah, we went to Wendler together. Yeah, I know him forever. Ryan has been the exact same since the day I met him. Like, even back then, he was just like hilarious, giving everybody hugs and just funny as shit, you know. Like,
Ryan is the best person I know, man. He's
oh no, he is not. He
He
has not changed. But we had choir together.
When I met Ryan, I met him because I was searching for a different band. I mean, I was in Murder's Justice, my band before Decepticide, and you know, we were kind of breaking up with the vocalist, and but I didn't want to abandon the band Murder's Justice, so I was like, well, I'm gonna start a second band, or I'm gonna join a side project. Nothing too serious, whatever. That's how I met Ryan. So I go jam with Ryan. Right away, I was like, this is not gonna work out. This guy sucks. But I was honest with him. I was like, look, man, we're like in different levels. I'm like just a few steps above you. I mean, I was talking to him about styles of picking, and he was like, he didn't even know what I was talking about.
Because he was playing guitar at the time, right?
Yeah.
But then he met you. He was like, all right, you take over playing guitar.
So I was like, look, man, like, I'm not gonna spend the time like trying to teach you how to do anything. So I was like, but dude, I'd love to hang out with you again. And he was like, for sure, man. And then we've been friends ever since. So even though like it didn't work out us playing in a band, like as guitar players and bandmates,
But you still got to be in a band together, right?
oh yeah, I mean, eventually, so we did kicked out the vocalist from my older band, and that's how Ryan entered this band, and we kind of like sit in ashes. We were like, you know what, dude, this is gonna be a new thing. Like, scratch all those songs. Let's keep the the most recent one which was already sounding different from what we were doing with the band, and let's start from here. And you know, we went through the whole like, okay, well, let's come up with band names. It's like, fuck, dude. Ryan came up with Decepticide. And it's basically the word deception and homicide put together. And that's what he calls it is the end of all lies. And I was like, dude, that's Decepticide, because we are. Shadow's Fall took something. He didn't take it from us, because obviously they came out with it. But I remember that I came out with the phrase "destroyers of fake metal," and then I fucking saw the Shadow's Fall had put "destroyers of fake metal" like on their fucking posters and shit. I'm like, motherfuckers, dude. I was like, dude, nobody's gonna believe me that I came out with that, because
I'm sure you did.
I had come out with that on my own. I did. I swear to God, I did. But then I saw that they fucking put "Destroyers of Fake Metal" like in their MySpace fucking page at the time, and I was like, God damn it, dude! Like, I just came out. I thought it was the coolest fucking phrase. And when Ryan was like, "Decepticide, the end of all lies," I'm like, yeah, dude, we're the end of fucking like fake metal. Like, we're gonna play straight up metal, and we never stop fucking playing.
But yeah, me and Ryan were
anything
like
but heavy shit.
Immediately, like, you know, kicking it and having fun because we had the class together. It was like, but we went to some other town to like compete with our choir. You know, like, I can't remember what town it was. Some town I've never been to since. You know, somewhere in Alaska. But it was like, but we all had took a school bus out there, and like I hadn't been on a school bus in forever. You know, because I lived by Wendler. I just walked there. You know,
right.
So like, you know, I mean, Ryan would be like sitting in the back, and he was always like that. He's like, oh, check this out. Well, I am an astro creep. And he's like, yeah, dude, get it. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, how did that sound? I'm like, that sounded pretty dope, dude. You know, like, and as soon as the bus got like quiet, like Ryan was the first one to like get the party started. He'd stand up and boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say way on, way on. Like, I'd never heard that song before. Every time I hear it, I think of Ryan. You know, and you know, it was like a call and response thing. The whole bus would go way oh or whatever. You know how it goes. I was like, what song is like? It's like, yeah, it goes like this. Girl, your booty's so round. Let me lick you up and down. I was like, that's a song. And every time I hear it, like, fuck yeah, this is a Ryan song. Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say way oh, way oh. Like, he always got the party started. Like, it's like, oh, what, this bus is getting quiet. Fuck that. And he just stand up, boom, boom, boom. Ask him how he loves that song.
I never heard that fucking song. I've only seen it from like
some 90s hip-hop song.
Touch.0, like the girl fucking singing that or whatever. Anyways,
I don't even know who does it, but that I probably would have never paid attention to it except for it always reminded me of Ryan. But he was always like that, you know. It's like what? It's getting quiet in here. Fuck this. We're getting the party started. Boom, boom, boom. And the whole bus go up. Well, you know, like that's how the song goes. Girl, your booty is so round. Let me lick you up and down. I'm like, oh my god. Like, that shit's hilarious. But yeah, Ryan was always like that, you know. Like, yeah,
fuck,
more
dude.
human than human. He's like, that sounded pretty dope, dude. We just be, you know,
he needed validation. Like,
yeah,
hey, Christian,
yeah. And then I remember he had like some CDs and like we had like a Discman. He had Loonies, which is like some rap group. You know, I'd never heard of him.
Oh well, I've seen pictures of Ryan back in high school, and he was like super baggy pants.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's still kind of like, but it's like super big shirt, and fucking like yellow hat. Man.
Yeah, you could do that to him and be like, boom, boom, boom. And see, he's going to know it. Like, I love that song. So whenever I hear it, I'm like, oh, this is Ryan's song. It's hilarious.
Oh, shit, man. Oh, my God, dude. I think we passed an hour. We did.
Damn, that went quick.
God damn it. Well.
Oh, but I mean, asking you, have you ever heard of Sigur? Like SIGUR and then space ROS?
No.
They're from Iceland, and it's like the calmest music like you've ever heard, but it's like in some language that was made by like a deaf child or something like that. So it's like you can't tell what the fuck they're saying, but it's like something you would listen to while you're like falling asleep. You know, it's like sounds like some like sleep therapy music, like deeper, you know, like, and your eyes, you know, like, and you're falling deep into a sleep. You know, it's like the least metal band you've ever heard because it's like, but it's like so relaxing, nice, like one of my favorite bands, you know. And I seen them, they're the least metal band in the world, but I seen them in Seattle like in probably like 2006, and it was just they were just fucking amazing, you know. And it was like, but I'd never been to a show where everybody just shut the fuck up, and it was like you could have heard a pin drop in there, you know. It was like nobody said a fucking thing, nobody was like, yo, let's get some beer or something like that. It was like. It was just like the song would stop and you just be like, I don't want to be the first person to clap, but it'd be like, all right, that's the end of the song, and everybody goes, oh, sorry,
golf clap.
yeah, but you know, in between songs, but it's like, yeah, check them out. It was like, but it's like, you know, it's like, who cares what they're saying? Like, you never heard Sigur? You know, like you can't. It's not even a real language, you know. but it sounds amazing, you know. It's just like who cares what the fuck they're saying, you know? It's
right.
like one of those things. But yeah, it was a fucking badass show, and it was just. But I'd never been. I don't know if anybody ever, you know, just like unless you go, it was just everybody shut the fuck up and paid attention. There was no, it was just, you know, but it was cool because I'd never been to a show like that before, you know.
Yeah, metal just gets a bad rep. You know, maybe
yeah,
for
it's like I love metal.
The
like,
optics of it, maybe the loudness of it, but everything gets lost.
And that's the thing, like most metalheads are into all sorts of music, you know. It's like it's like I'm into fucking Cannibal Corpse over here, like super heavy, but it's like I'm also into fucking Sigur over here, which is the exact opposite, like, you know. Yeah, they're from Iceland. It's like if they were speaking their native tongue, it's like you don't know what they're saying.
That's one of the
but
things,
the music's amazing.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've noticed as I get older that I don't like. For example, when I met Brian, I used to pick him up to go to band practice, and we used to blast fucking Shadows Fall, Lamb of God, Darkest Hour, all the way to fucking practice. We used to headbang while I was driving. I mean, it was ridiculous. And then I would listen to metal fucking to work, whatever, over the years, super loud. And then I noticed that I started to turn it down, and I started listening to more relaxed music. And now I'm 34, I don't listen to metal almost at all. But when I hear metal by accident, like somebody's playing metal, I think that's my favorite time to listen to metal. When like if I show up to a job site and somebody has a radio and it's their music, they have it like hooked up to their phone, and that they're listening to metal, and I recognize the songs, dude, like it's my favorite.
Like, I'm working faster now. Like yeah,
it's like
I'm getting shit done.
It's my favorite thing now to listen to metal when it's unplanned, when I'm not planning to listen to metal. Because like when I want to listen to metal, or like, oh, I'm gonna hook up my phone to my truck while I drive to work, and I'm gonna look for songs, and I just find myself skipping, and you'd be like, well, why don't you listen to new music? I'm like, dude, I'm so into like the shit that I already like, that Ryan, he has tried for years. We're like, dude, check out this band. Where Ryan's always like a brand new band, and like I just can't do it. Like I'm like, I got so much music that I love that.
Yeah, I'm not usually up to date on a lot.
Anything that sounds like too weird right off the bat, like if I'm not into it within the first 10 seconds, I'm not gonna do it. And so another thing, I think just getting older, like I'm just want to be more relaxed. So I don't listen to metal. I listen to a lot of rap, dude. I listen to a lot of 80s rock, and not 94.7 but Bob FM, The Fox, those kind of stations.
Yeah, check out Cigarettes, you'd probably like them. It's
probably,
like,
it sounds like
when
it.
you hear it, you're
you're
like, I feel like I'm floating.
Now that
it's
I'm
like,
fucking old and lame, yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, it's like you could listen to it while you're falling asleep. You know, it's like it's so like relaxing, but it's like, but I mean, the first time I heard it, I was like, I've never heard anything like that.
But the weird thing is that even though I'm not into like listening to metal loud like I used to be as when I was young, when I was everywhere I drove, like even at home, whatever, I still like need to be in this room to come play metal. Like that's still a thing. Like I still love fucking playing metal and just feeling this fucking amp just behind me, just feel that sound fucking loud like it was a fucking show. And you know, Brian on the drums, Ryan fucking screaming here. We don't have a bass player, but you know, I still like love playing metal. I just don't listen to it very much.
Yeah, I'm not usually like up to date on. There's like so much metal coming out. I'm like, I can't keep up with it. I mean, like I'd like to, but it's just hard to like, you know, like someone like Ryan is always up to date on.
Oh, dude,
you know,
Ryan,
I'd be the first, you know,
it's
like
too much.
What's new, you know, and he would be the one to know, you know.
It's too much with him sometimes.
But yeah, it's like, man, there's a million metal bands out there, and a lot of them are fucking good, you know.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure.
Were your parents into music?
My dad was into like Guns N' Roses. So
we all.
So when I was
we were always listening to Guns N' Roses. My dad.
When I was a little kid, the first music that was alternative, and when I mean alternative to Latin music, salsa, and everything else, everything that's Latin music. It was Guns N' Roses, Michael Jackson. I think those two. So like my dad was he was never around, so he was pretty absent, but he left me 2 cassette tapes, Use Your Illusions 1 and 2, and I think I don't know if it was like the best of Michael Jackson at the time, or it was something like that, or maybe it was one of the albums, but I just don't remember. But so I love Michael Jackson and I love Guns N' Roses. So
and Slash played for Michael for a little bit.
He did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like early 90s, yeah. It was badass. But yeah, when I was a kid, yes, fucking Guns N' Roses was the shit, you know?
So my dad, you know, I had that when I was little. Like, I knew that I like rock and, like, fucking classical rock. But outside of Guns N' Roses, I didn't like anything else. And it took, like I said, it took a song like The Kids Are in a Ride by The Offspring to get me back into, like, music like that, because that fucking guitar riff, that opening riff of The Kids Are on the Right, it's fucking killer. And just the rhythm of it and the whole thing. I remember my buddy bought the cassette, and he was like, I gotta show you guys this. And so we went to his apartment, and he just put it on the fucking stereo and just turn it on. And he's like, come on, you guys gotta get up. Like, and we're like, what are we doing? And he starts
we're gonna mosh.
And he starts playing the riff like, and then he's like, oh, you guys ready? Here comes. And then he starts fucking pushing everybody. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And he was like, go ahead, man, fucking push me back. And I was like, all right. And we start moving.
Like, this is fun.
And it was just so much fun. And kind of like we were talking about it being in a metal band, in a fucking stage, like that energy is just different. You can't compare it with like dancing or relax or like happy shit. It's like, even though there's some music that you jam to that is angry, I guess you would call it, it's just a different type of energy, man. It makes you feel good, not angry by any fucking means. Like, you're so much better after listening or going to a metal concert. Promise you that.
Oh yeah, Appetite for Destruction, man. We listened to that all the time in the car. Like, that was the shit when we were kids. And I remember, like, my dad would like drop us off at my mom's house, and he'd be like, all right. He'd be like, have like a tape, like, all right, or like a tape and like some M&Ms, like, all right, do not let your mom find this shit. Like, she will sue me. Like, here you go, I'll get it back from you next week, and be like fuck yeah, Guns N' Roses or Faster Pussycat or Striper, some butt rock, it was just always butt rock, Alice Cooper trash. We had that one too, just like, do not let your mom find this shit. And you know what? She never found any of that shit, But it turned out, because it's like, well, it's like, yeah, well, we're into music now. And it's like, and there's nothing wrong with it, It's like, yeah, it's like people say, oh, no, it's not.
But isn't that funny? It goes to show you that, even though you listen to the music and people have the perception that this kind of music is made for angry people, and if you listen to this or you perform this, you're just an angry guy, and like, oh, I don't get all the anger.
It's harmless. It just disappears in the air. Like, where'd it go? It's like, it's harmless.
Isn't it funny that look at us here, like, we're the most chill fucking guys you ever meet at the bar, man. Like, we're so chill. We buy drinks to fucking total strangers, and like, as long as you're cool, like, we're cool. And if you're not cool, we most likely walk away from it.
Like, it's easy.
We're not even the type of guys that fucking be like, oh, I wish somebody would fuck with me tonight. I'm like, No, dude, that sounds like a lot of work. I just try.
Yeah, that's it's exhausting.
You know, we only fight each other. Like the one
Yeah.
time that I was fucking with you, and then you kicked my ass.
It was all in fun,
Dude,
It was,
I don't know. That was in a bad place.
oh, it was a long time. Who cares?
It
about
was
that?
a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's funny. Every time I think about it, I'm just like, dude, Christian was like the last guy that I should have ever done that. Like,
But when I see you next time, you're like, dude, sorry about last time. I was like, and you remember what I said? I was like, don't worry about it, man. Like, that's what makes us homies. We've been through some shit together, and you were just like,
I think
dude, you're right.
I think
like, all good.
I think the other day I was going through our messages on Facebook and like I was like scrolling up and I was like, dude, I'm sorry about last night. I think this was like
I was
2013.
like, that's what makes us friends.
It was like, I think I was going through some shit. I was drinking a lot and for some reason I felt like fucking with Christian and I was like, and he fucking checked me pretty good. But it's like, man,
We were just goofing off. It's okay.
it was like so cool that like exactly like I feel like any other person would have been like hold a grudge over that, like, who the fuck are you to fuck with me like that, you know? And then, like, and you're right to like check me the way you did, but it's like us, like we're like metalheads are so non-dramatic.
Yeah,
like,
like-
we're just like, all right, yeah, we were
I was
fucked
like,
up.
I'm there for you, bro. That's what makes us homies.
we were
Fuck.
fucked up.
You're like, you're right. All right. And it was all good. It didn't matter.
But fucking man, I fucking thank you for fucking coming, man.
Yeah.
It's so awesome that
Man, that went quick.
it did, man. Actually, it went longer. That fucking. I usually do just an hour. We're at 85 minutes, but you know, I just kind of want to keep doing these things to keep some sort of like history alive and like relevant and
Yeah,
like,
I mean, we
put
could,
it in
we
the
could do
books.
this for hours, dude.
Put it in the books. Oh yeah, I mean, I almost feel like we haven't even talked about anything yet. To all these fucking shows that have happened and everything that involves the scene, the venues, promoters. I mean, what was, what is, what could be. I mean, there's so much there. But I always like, obviously, I have huge respect for you, but I think more than anything for all us guys that have been playing for so long and we're still here playing music, you know, like Sid and Ashes, Glass Halo, and Decepticide. We have been like the bands, you know. Glass Halo is recently
Yeah, I miss
just
those
kind of
guys.
this
They were
band,
badass.
because, you know, Seth moved out of state. But that was recently. That was only a few years ago. Fuck Chi, Mercy's band. They've also been
Yeah.
together, but you know they have had a hiatus, like long hiatus, and then they come back around. But like Sid and Ashes just recently kind of,
Well, we haven't played in like a year and
you
a
know,
half.
Corey left,
Yeah.
so that was kind of. Would you say that's the end of it, or do you think so? And
I mean,
now Matt,
we'll maybe play again sometime.
now Matt doesn't live in Anchorage anymore in Alaska, so you know it's a bummer. Like for me, that we always, as being in the Decepticide, I look around and be like, okay, who are our homies that have been around, that had you know consistently been playing for all these years? And it was always Glass Halo, Sid and Ashes, like always count with those guys. And when Corey left and Sid and Ashes kind of basically ended, it's like it's a bummer, man. It's like fuck, man.
Well, with the whole pandemic, like ain't shit going on anyway. So it's like at least this little podcast like kind of keeps things going. It's like no show's going on, but we can sit and talk about it and reminisce. You know.
Yeah, hopefully,
that's always
man.
good.
There's more memories to be made, man. More fucking shows to had, and like I said, man. Like for us, for the Decepticide, we're still gonna be here every Sunday. We're gonna be here practicing, working towards something. We never know what it is. Like if it's just for a show in the future, or for nothing, or just to make fucking music, because being a metal band is, it's not just a hobby, it's like a life, like a lifestyle. Like we have to have it. We can't just not play music. We cannot just not create new fucking metal music. And anyways, man, fucking
Cheers.
thanks for
That's
being here,
fun.
Christian.
Yeah, man. Anytime.
Anyways, guys, fucking like, subscribe, that really fucking helps, and share if you like it. We'll be back, I don't know, next month. We'll see. There's I got some good people on queue, so appreciate you guys watching, listening, and I read all the comments and everybody that messages me and appreciates that, you know, I keep having this podcast and talk about the music scene. You know, that's kind of what keeps me moving forward and, you know, looking into getting better stuff. So thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
We're out.
That was fun. We could have kept that going for hours. That was long.
Yeah, no, I usually cut it at 60.
Yeah. What people's...
One way down.